BlizzCon launched to exciting fanfare, moderate disappointment, some controversy, but overall satisfaction. And in that controversy, we have Season of Discovery. Season of Discovery is Blizzard's take on Classic Plus, and whilst it's not everyone's definition of Classic Plus, this is without a doubt Classic Plus. It has completely changed how Classic will be played, and whilst at its core it is still Classic WoW, the changes are staggering and amazing. Before I cover the game though, keep in mind the following. This is a seasonal server, and there will likely be a Season of Discovery era server at the end. I personally believe that this is a setup for a more permanent full-time Classic Plus, where they test and experiment with the new content, ideas and more before they make a fully permanent game version. Now though, the most exciting change of Season of Discovery is none other than the rune engraving system. It's a new class augmentation whereby exploring the world, doing quests, killing bosses or whatnot, since as of this moment we don't know where all the engravings come from. You are able to equip spells, abilities, some item effects, some abilities from other classes, some racial abilities and some enchantment directly onto your armor and acquire those passives or abilities. When we start the game, the level cap is only 1 to 25 and we only have access to 3 armor slots: chest, legs and hands. Whilst I will dive into runes for all classes later in this guide, some noticeable runes are Crusader Strike for Paladins and Wild Strike for Druids. Now, these two abilities are quite incredibly powerful, and whilst they alone don't change the game, considering that you can get 3 abilities like this at this power at level 25 is staggering. This doesn't even account for reaching max level and having the ability to unlock over 10 abilities, depending on if you can equip runes on weapons, shields and trinkets. But because discoveries are secret and no one knows where they are, and yes, you're probably saying it'll be data mined, there'll be 50 YouTube videos and 20 Icy Vein guides before Season of Discovery even launches. And whilst typically you'd be right, in this case you're wrong, because one of the best decisions that Blizzard has ever made is the following change. There is no public beta, alpha or anything. Every single person is going in blind. The only knowledge we have of the game is what they've said to us during BlizzCon and the people that actually got to play the BlizzCon demo for the 10-man raid Black Fathom Depths, which I will have more information on later on. Another facet to the game is the following. There are now new tanks and healer combinations, as you can see right here. The meta has been shifted and many classes can do things that they couldn't do before, like Shaman, Warlock and Rogue tanking. Also, Paladin is fixed and can properly tank now. And somehow Mage Healer, which is interesting. Now that you know what runes are, and you learn what the level cap at the start of Season of Discovery is, and that's level 25, you're probably asking, what does that mean? Well, it's a new system that Blizzard has designed called level banded content phases, and what this means is that phase 1 of Season of Discovery is capped at level 25, and after a period of a few weeks, it'll increase to level 40, the cap for phase 2. The phases are as follows, based on Blizzard purposefully leaking the next 3 10-man raids, which are Meragon, Scarlet Monastery and Karazhan Crypts after Black Fathom Depths. Yes, you heard that right. Now though, based on the dev interviews, here we have the following phase bands. Phase 1 being Black Fathom Depths at a level cap of 25, Phase 2 being No Meragon at a level cap of 40, Phase 3 being Scarlet Monastery at a level cap of 50, and Phase 4 being Karazhan Crypts at a level cap of 60. Whilst Blizzard didn't announce a Phase 5, I wouldn't be surprised if Phase 5 was 40-man raids being redone, and I'm not going to guess that in this video, but I will in a future one. There could be a Phase 5 which starts at level 60 with a completely new 40-man dungeon raid, perhaps Dire Maul, and then Phase 6 is Molten Core Remastered and onwards. But again, I'm not gonna guess for now. So with those phases explained, why did Blizzard choose phase 1 being level 25? Well, Blizzard said that the feedback during the classic betas back in 2019 showed that people enjoyed it and it was a fun time rediscovering, exploring and doing things at the level 25 cap back then. So they chose their cap based on that, especially since it allowed them to redo and reuse old content, especially low-level content that people wouldn't visit again otherwise. Another major reason is since phases last a few weeks, assume between 4 to 10 weeks per phase, it means you'll never be too far behind as a new player or someone with IRL responsibilities. You can always jump back out, play other games, not feel pressured or compelled to grind to max level immediately. You'll have plenty of time to do that. And the final reason is that they can add exciting, unique and new content with each level banded content phase. New items, new quests, new NPCs and mobs, new discoveries and world quests, PvP and more. And they can do this over the course of a year or two. The other main reason is that it allows them to treat each phase as a mini beta within itself, testing what works is overpowered, is meta, isn't meta, and allowing them to give breathing room to make each consecutive phase better and better. With level banded content phases covered, let's talk about the last bonus of the system that is a new mechanic. mechanic, there will be a massive XP boost to previous phases, allowing you to catch up faster or level up alt faster with every new phase. I don't know what this XP boost will be, but I assume it's 2x experience, maybe even as high as 5x experience. We'll have to wait and see on that front. So now that we know we're stuck at level 25 for 4 weeks minimum, up to perhaps as long as 12 weeks, what is the end game for such a low level? Well, as I said earlier, there are now new 10-man raids taking old dungeons and remixing them into raid content. And the first of these level up raids, as that is the official name for them, is Black Fathom Depths. They'll be taking familiar settings and characters, giving them new mechanics, changing the quests around these dungeons, and making it feel like a legitimate raid. Blizzard's goal here was to make the world feel more alive, tempered and paced, allowing us to take an Azeroth for all its glory and prestige. And I'm not going to lie, there is a lot of forgotten glory and prestige in Azeroth. Since Black Fathom Depths got a full-on redesign, let's dive into this exciting and wildly new content. Black Fathom Depths is an ancient elven ruin with evil stirring within, familiar but mysterious. Most of you probably don't even remember the bosses there, but even if you do, they are now completely different. With a 3-day lockout, much like Zul'Gurub, we're going to have plenty of time to master this level up raid and figure out everything there is in there and every little secret. And there are plenty of secrets in Black Fathom Depths. For example, Secrets of the Black Feather Artisan, which sounds like an incredible crafting recipe skill set, as well as the mysterious new world buff, Boon of Black Fathom, who nobody has any idea what it does. But now onto the bosses. BFD has 7 new bosses, all fully reimagined encounters, and all quests and loot for BFD has been completely remastered and remade. That's right, you now have level 25 loot being better than perhaps even level 40 classic loot. Don't quote me on that, as I don't have a full item list, but what we did see is pretty incredible, since this is essentially level 25 raid loot and not dungeon loot. But onto our first boss, who is Baron Aquanus, who is no longer a quest NPC and is now the first raid boss. He's empowered by Fathom Stones, which have to be disabled, as well as jumping puzzles and a very obnoxious knockback. This knockback throws you off the platform, during which you have to jump puzzle your way back up, only for the ability to be off cooldown, so he knocks you down again. Kind of annoying as far as combat mechanics go, but it's very interesting nonetheless. Then we have Gamura, now the second boss of the raid instead of the first of the dungeon, and he's protected by a magical barrier which we have to break through to be able to burn down the giant turtle. The third boss is Lady Saravis, a Naga sea witch with a retinue of Black Fathom elites, and we have to turn her own spells against her to stop her from overwhelming us with unending ads. The next 4 bosses we have almost no information about, but here they are. Gelahast, the Void Murloc, followed by Lorgus Jet, and then Twilight Lord Calrus, before finally we confront Akumai, the Void Hydra. If he was deadly before, he's probably going to spit in our mouths and make us say thank you this time. And that summarizes Black Fathom Depths. I'm beyond excited to dive into this new content and see just how fun and intuitive it really feels. But as I said earlier in the video, I would cover runes in more depth, so let's skip right into that. As I already said, they are treating each phase almost as if it's a beta in of itself, which means runes will only get progressively more wild and interesting, seeing how players lean into them and how the class balance turns out. Since rune engravings can be found all over the world, from quests, dungeons, raids, bosses, PvP, and who knows what else, I can't cover every rune at the moment, just those that we know of. At level 25, we only have access to chest, legs, and hands. Runes are permanent, essentially a new talent system which can be applied and removed at will with no limitations or costs. You simply have to be out of combat to apply and unapply runes. The greatest benefit that runes provide to the game, though, is the simple fact that formerly faction unique bonuses, buffs, and racials are now available for certain classes, removing that faction buffer. They are also making talent respecs cost far less, but they didn't tell us how much less as of now. Now let's take a look at every class's runes that was shown to us from the people that played on the demo floor and BlizzCon, as well as Blizzard's own reveals. As you can see with these images side by side, this is an insane amount of new abilities that will completely and utterly throw the meta into shambles. But it's going to be a great few weeks as everyone attempts to figure out the new meta, only for the next phase to come out and completely invalidate every single guide that people write. This is good for creativity, exploration, and fun. It's terrible for min-maxes and meta chasers, since your meta will never be meta for more than a few weeks or months at best. And this all ties neatly into the fact that Blizzard wants to shake up the meta with Season of Discovery changing the concept of metas and data mining. Meta in Season of Discovery will never be consistent or stable, and thus don't chase metas. Otherwise, expect to level a new character every phase and completely learn a new class every phase for the most OP and broken character of that phase. Some of you will do that, that's for sure though. Nonetheless, Blizzard wants to give each class something to brag about. They want to stick with what's popular in the sense of abilities, item effects, and more. Rather than just give random or terrible runes to people, they want to let people let loose and have fun. Some of the runes will be new and unique spells, never seen before. Some will be from future expansions, but they did say that they want to stay true to classic overall and not introduce anything too modern, so don't expect spells from Beyond Wrath of the Lich King or maybe even Cataclysm. They want to focus on class fantasy and make sure every class feels true to its fantasy. And finally, we move on to PvP, the lifeblood of WoW for some people, and what they've done cooked up for PvP is phenomenal and amazing. Allow me to introduce you to Ashen Vale, which lore-wise is a hotspot of war between the Alliance and the Horde since the days of Warcraft 3. And now it truly is a war between the Alliance and the Horde, not just in Quest or Warsong Gold. Welcome to the Ashen Vale PvP Zone, a massive zone-wide PvP event that will completely change how Ashen Vale operates and make it a bloodbath. On the side of the Alliance, we have the Priestess of the Moon, the leader of the Alliance forces in Ashen Vale. On the side of the Horde, we have the Farseer, the leader of the Horde forces in Ashen Vale. Much like Alterac Valley, these two bosses are empowered by numerous other camps which buff each respective leader, and whichever side can figure out a bug and blitz through into the enemy boss and kill them will get the whole experience nerfed. Jokes aside, like Alterac Valley, you will have to defeat the numerous camp bosses to make the Priestess or the Farseer weak enough to be defeated. And as a special unique feature at level 20, you'll be able to acquire a mount solely for usage in Ashen Vale, as it's a PvP unique mount, so as not to make the massive Alterac Valley sized battlefield and event take 7 hours to complete. But unlike Alterac Valley, there is no player cap on an open world PvP event, meaning you, your mother, uncle, brother, sister, best friend's girlfriend's, boyfriend's, cousin's, dad's dad will be able to group together in a massive 5 FPS 400 MS experience where you don't know if your side is winning or losing because there are 800 people in Ashen Vale PvPing at the same time. Or layering, I don't know, we'll find out together. And thus, you have the ultimate guide to Season of Discovery. That is no fluff and just information. I wish there was more to share, but Blizzard has told us nothing and we're all going to discover all the news together, hand in hand. Thankfully, Blizzard has said that there is so much more content planned and that we will be experiencing incredible and fun content that is unique and new, even after level 60 as well, so expect as many as 10 phases or more. But honestly, who knows what we'll get. As Blizzard said, they want to make new content based on abandoned and scrapped vanilla content, so expect the Hyjal raid, Gilneas, the PvP map in Ashara and more. Let me know in the comments below what Classic Plus content you want them to finish first. If you want to see more from me, check this video out right here. Subscribe if you hate me, subscribe if you love me. Ebonhard out.